Welcome to Modern Mystic Messages, and welcome back, that is. Please don't forget to like and or subscribe and follow. But yeah, we are at the point of 2008. And again, at this point, I'm getting the clairaudient messages. I still didn't understand that an awakening was happening because it wasn't seeming super spiritual. Now, I did have another very tearful kind of acceptance point conversation, if you will, with spirit. At the time, I was still very much into calling on Yahweh or Jehovah. And I basically just said, if you show me what to do and where to go, I'll go. Whatever it is, prepare me and I'll go. I had no clue what was about to happen because, again, it's not an instant process. My awakening didn't rock out like that. But 2000, well, 9 and 10 was just dealing with life stuff and, like I said, jobs, crappy apartments, blah blah blah, financial struggles. 2010 continued, but I wound up moving into downtown Newport News into an old house there, and I met my mentor then. That was kind of interesting too. Met him online, and it was so weird because after we had our first phone conversation, he said, "When the teacher is ready, the student appears." You called, and I came, and I'm really beginning to understand that even more so now. But I was beginning to learn about some of the spiritual concepts, kind of how to cleanse my aura and things like that. And then we started having some paranormal activity a little bit in the house we were living in. It was a super old house. He makes orgone devices, so he gave me some stuff to help with that. And I started doing like the keeping like Himalayan salt lamps in the house. And so we got over that little hump. But when I started, like, I wasn't seriously meditating yet, but I was like delving into more spiritual topics. And I was listening to Abraham and Esther Hicks at that time. I started like around 2011. I had bought the book. Oh, I forgot to, yeah, The Secret. In 2008, my friend kept on telling me, you got to get this book. He was talking about The Secret. He was always into trendy things. And he just kept going on and on and on about The Secret. So one day I went to, money was kind of tight, but I was dropping my daughter, I think she was going to apply for a job at the mall or something. And I was waiting for her. And while I was waiting for her, there was a bookstore in the mall that was going out of business, and it said everything in there was like 50% off or more or whatever. So I walked in to go look for this book, Secret, and I found it. And on the same shelf that The Secret was on, I also saw Money and the Law of Attraction by Esther and Jerry Hicks. So I got both of them, and I made it about halfway through The Secret, and I realized that it was a beautiful piece to introduce people to the concept. But if all you leaned on was a secret, you're gonna still be lost on that because the secret to the secret is the secret ain't in that book. It's a beginning segue into it, but there's more to it than that. And I understood that, so I made it about halfway through that book. I made it about a third of the way through Money and the Law of Attraction, and then I put them both on the bookshelf and went back to my regularly scheduled life trying to figure this thing out. I had moved by the time 2011, 2012 rolled around. I was in this older house. And one day, I don't even know what caused me to go through like a box of books or something on the shelf. And I pulled out Money and the Law of Attraction. I think I'd given The Secret to somebody else at that point. And as long as I had had that book, I had never listened to the CD that came in the back of the book. But I went ahead and put it in and listened to it. And I immediately understood channeling and that I wasn't listening to Esther, that I was actually hearing whom she was channeling, Abraham. And so I started really, really listening to Abraham and Esther a lot. Still wasn't meditating consistently, but I was just trying to understand this law of attraction thing. Um, that went on, well, of interest, what happened, few things happened interesting in that time period. When I started clearing my chakras and doing the energy work, I did start having a little bit of Kundalini awakening. 2011 and through 2012, it felt like a rough engine idling. I'd be sitting in the room and or laying in bed at night. My daughter was next to me. I'd be like, "Did you feel that?" And she'd be like, "Mom, what are you talking about? Did you feel that?" It felt like I was having like in a low grade earthquake, but nobody else could feel it but me. I had several telepathic experiences with people that I could feel their energy, but it was kind of a spontaneous thing. I had started trying to do some energy work, but I didn't understand enough about cleaning and clearing my chakras first. So I people could feel the energy awakening in me, but I didn't know how to control it. So it would make me really tired. And after a while, just picking up other people's energy and it was weirding people out, and I just kind of stopped and left it alone. Also, during that time period, I had several people come to me with prophetic, if you will, messages. One of them was somebody that I met online. We never really dated. He was gorgeous, but he was actually came through with a word for me. He was an Ifa priest, and he spoke over my life some uncomfortable things that I didn't want to admit and didn't think was going to happen. Oh, they came true. And even the uncomfortable stuff, I can't prove 100% whether it's true or not, but more likely than not, he gave me the information and then backed away from my life. At the tavern, I had two or three people on different occasions walk up to me, and one of them said that she knew she could see that I know Jesus. She could see it on me, and at the time, again, I'm angry with religion, so I'm like, what? Okay, and just kept it moving. But there was this one lady. I've had people want to stop and pray with me, and I was nice and all that, and I didn't want to get in. We ain't supposed to talk about religion and all that, but yeah, I had a lot of different experiences in the tavern, but the one that got me the most, I had a lady, and I wasn't even serving her section. I was in a private dining room, kind of off to the end of the building by myself. I think I had like 4 or 5 tables in there. And I was cleaning the section after my last tables were leaving or so. And she came in and she spoke to me, and she was talking about how she could see that I had a calling on my life. And she took my hand, and I was like, she said, "Yeah, you're, I think she said you're a preacher, or you have a," no, she said, "I have a ministry." And I looked at her, I was like, "Lady, you have no idea. I'm not doing the religion thing. I'm just not, that's not me." She was like, "No, no, no, you don't understand. Every ministry is not behind a pulpit, and every teacher ain't a preacher. But you have a ministry and a calling over your life. And unless or until you fulfill your purpose, you're never going to find happiness." And then she was gone. Like I say, I don't know where she came from. I don't know where she went to. I don't know why she or how she noticed me and just had to come and speak to me. But yeah, so, and like I said, I remembered that. I absolutely remembered it. But again, still not quite ready, still in progress, because my life kept falling apart, but I wouldn't give up and just let it happen. Too stubborn, because I'm a fighter. I mean, I'm a single parent at this point of 4 children. I don't have a choice to just lay down and give up or any of the rest of that. But as hard as I was trying, it wasn't coming together the way I needed it to either. And that's the part I didn't understand. Sometimes you just gotta, like they say, shh, just shh. But I had too much fight in me for that. So I keep getting the slats kicked out from under me, and I kept trying to rebuild. Keep getting the slats kicked out from under me, and keep trying to rebuild. Was being scorned by those that were in my life and around my life, talking about me like a dog. Because again, I came from the around a group of women after I left my family. The group of people that I came into were kind of the philosophy that a woman has a money maker. And because I wasn't using men to get my financial needs met, they looked at me as foolish, talked about me behind my back like a dog. And I know they did, because later on my kids came back and told me about it. But I mean, you can feel when people talk about you anyway, but that just was never me. So it is what it is. I was trying to do what I could do and failing miserably at it by the world's standards. So much so that by 2014, closed up the house. By then, my oldest daughter was grown. Now, she had stayed with me past adulthood for a while in the house that I was staying when things got tight financially. and I couldn't hold that down anymore. Closed up that house, and she got an apartment, and I wound up staying with her for a few months, and then I went back to Florida, back to the trauma bond with my ex, because he had left Florida, moved to Virginia, left and moved across country, working out in Washington, whatever, for a few years, and then he was back in Florida, and again, doing the wrong thing for the right reasons, I got lured in on a lie of let's start a business together. Well, I was trying to build legacy for our child and thought he was going to cooperate because I know he wasn't necessarily working smart, but he would work hard. So I figured if I built a business in the corporation in such a way that he couldn't basically squander it out from under her, that I'd be building something for her so it'd be worth whatever. And by that point in time, she was 17, 16, 17, but she was staying with him by then. And so I moved back to Florida. And again, did the wrong thing for the right reasons, but it still worked out for my benefit because truthfully, as a karmic facilitator, he did two beautiful things. Not only did he round out my dreams for the two girls, two boys I wanted, because my child with him, the fourth child, is a girl. So I had my oldest is a girl, my youngest is a girl, the twins in the middle are boys. But he also helped play out some of those other karmic lessons that I needed to learn as well. But truthfully, overall, was a much safer landing than I could have had with some other scenarios. But it also played a very dramatic or critical role in the beginning of the for real beginning of the awakening. And I'll get into that in just a few because, yeah, I see we're getting up here on time, but we're coming on down to it, fam. So I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget, like, subscribe, follow. Talk to you later.